Hustle. Get the business, build the business, then you get the cash. Then you flip it, we unscripted, don't forget to laugh. Hustle. Don't forget to laugh. Grind hard, align stars, and as the time pass, hustle. And humor by task, we get the last laugh. Hustle. And humor, now tap in.
What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome back to another episode of Hustle and Humor, where we grind hard but laugh harder. But today we kind of flipping it up a little bit. It's just me and my man -X in the building. Y'all know Hyphen. Y'all don't see him, but you hear him.
Yo, y'all know the voice.
Y'all know what's going on. So listen, we're gonna do something really special for y'all today. All right, today I'm giving y'all a workshop, a master class that you can use anywhere if you do marketing, and every business has to market. Go right now, go get you a pen and pencil, go get you a notepad, go get you a laptop.
Hey, this is not an episode for leisure. This is an episode for workers. So if you're not a worker, go ahead, go watch last week's episode, have a ball. If you're a worker, bring your tools to the table. Let's get it.
No, for sure. Because we definitely, trust me, we're never doing nothing like this again on this scale, on this level. And we definitely should be charging for this information. So over the years, just so y'all know some of my background, I've spent over $100,000 to acquire all the information that I know, that I use on a day-to-day basis. And I still invest in masterminds, master classes, workshops, conferences. I'm consistently trying to learn. So today, I'm going to give y'all something that I like to call how to read your customers like the CIA and sell without guessing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I don't know if y'all know this or not.
Oh, wow.
The CIA is pretty dope in how they analyze things. You know, CIA has analysts, and all they do is consistently analyze. And a lot of us have businesses, but we don't be analyzing stuff.
Yeah, we don't know the data.
We have no data. We don't have a target market. We don't have an ideal customer. We don't have the processes. So, by the way, depending on when y'all watching this, you're either going to get the in-person version of our six-figure blueprint, or we're going to do a virtual version of our six-figure blueprint that you could tap into, and we're going to go even more in depth. So if you like what you're about to hear, when you get to the end of this episode, I'm going to give you some instructions. I need you to go sign up either for the in-person six-figure blueprint or for the virtual six-figure blueprint, because we're really trying to give entrepreneurs that edge. Why spend thousands of dollars if you can get it from me for the low? All right, so let's get into this. How to read your customer like the CIA and sell without guessing. Before I even jump into it, I already know when I deal with a lot of entrepreneurs who look like us, a lot of us are not having consistent sales. We don't. And we don't read our customers. We don't. We that's not something we do. So you may have heard us say this before. You see, I got the laptop out. I even brought my notes out to make sure I don't miss nothing and I give y'all high quality. Most businesses, they fail because they guess who their customer is. Mm-hmm. Powerful businesses observe who their customer is. So what are you doing? Are you guessing or are you observing? And most of us, here's the thing, we don't have an ideal client. So we can't even guess who the customer is. We're just throwing stuff out there, hoping that we make money, hoping that we throw sales.
They're talking to everybody.
Nobody. Which is why the numbers say the average black business makes $30,000 or less per year. And here's the thing for people I've talked to, at least in this market, $30,000 is a stretch. If you don't have a daily ticket, you're not doing $30,000 a year.
That's true.
It's just not happening. I remember I talked to this sister, I won't say her name, and I did a SWOT analysis for her, and she was telling me how, I asked her how much money she made. She was like, oh, I made like $10,000. I said, oh, that's great. But then I said, well, what's your expenses? She's like, well, I pay almost $1,000 a month for my spot. I'm like, wait a second, you made $10,000.
That's it. But
you pay $1,000 for your spot. I'm like, so you're negative $2,000 with just rent? She's like, well, it's not necessarily, And I'm like, no, those are excuses. You're negative. You're on the negative side. So even the $10,000 you made, and then I said, tell me about the $10,000 you made. How did you make it? What did you do to make that $10,000? Say, well, and then you start finding out it's not even a real $10,000. Like, you're putting your own money up. So most black businesses, we don't have a structure. We don't have a system that's going to generate money for us. So because we don't have a structure, we don't know. But if you had an ideal client, guess what your ideal client would tell you? Everything you need to know about what to sell to them, how to sell it to them, how much they're willing to pay for it, and how soon you can sell it to them.
Yeah.
That's the difference between having your own client. We just don't be paying attention. Somebody could literally walk up to you like, listen, I want to buy this lemonade. I'm willing to pay $10 for it if you sell it to me in the next 5 minutes. We'll go sit down, have a whole plan, come back an hour later, no
I
lemonade.
ain't gonna have no more after this.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We just don't go for the sale. So we got to understand that. So also you need to understand that your marketing is not to persuade your client. Your marketing is recognizing who your client already is, who the customer already is. It's not to persuade them. If you're using your marketing to persuade your clients, like this is why you should buy from me, you're trying to sell to people that may not want to buy from you. It's smarter and it makes more sense to sell to people who already want to buy from you. If they already want to buy from you and you come in with the right product at the right time and you're in the right market, they're going to buy from you.
Can you speak on the difference in knowing educating versus persuading?
Absolutely. Educating your client and persuading your client, two different things. See, with persuasion, you're trying to convince them to buy something. Educating them, and what we do a lot of times, we might educate on things that matter to us, right? We educate on like, these are some of the features. But the real education should be, how is it transformational to that person? So if you're telling me how to lose weight, it doesn't matter to me all the programs you got. When I bend this muscle, this contracts this way and I burn these calories. That doesn't matter to me. How much weight am I going to lose over how long? What's the transformation? That's what people really care about. So be careful when you're educating that you're not trying to persuade. See, it does this, it does this, it does this. That's different from educating. Educating is, this is what the transformation is. So you really want to zone in on what the transformation is. Also, something that you should learn from marketing that the CIA does very well, very well. The CIA says if you can't read the environment, you can't predict the behavior. If you can't read the environment, you cannot predict the behavior. If I go to a cage full of lions, I know what to expect. It's an easy environment to read. If I'm out in Antarctica, I know what to expect. I don't go to Antarctica with suntan lotion. Not that I would go with suntan lotion anyway, as dark as I am. But I'm not going to Antarctica with suntan lotion because the environment says I can predict the behavior of what's going to happen. But we go into business, into a room full of people who have money in their pockets, and we can't extract none of it because we can't predict the environment. All right. So humans give us signals. Humans give us signals of what it is that we should be doing in that moment in order to make sales. All right. So first thing I want to talk about, did you know that one of the environmental analysis ideas that the CIA looks at is sound? And let me back up for a second. The CIA has this analysis thing they do where they will come look at an entire community. They don't just gauge off of one person, they gauge off a community because the community is going to have group behavior. So they'll come into a community and they ask the question, what sounds do you hear in that community? So there's a huge difference in between a community where it's loud. You hear lots of arguing outside. You hear bickering. You hear lots of swearing. You might hear 12s in the trunk. If you're from the hood, you know that person coming down the street who car like, boom. You know that is a sound that you hear in certain neighborhoods. Versus coming into a neighborhood, you hear peace.
It sounds out of place.
Yeah. You come into certain neighborhoods, you can hear the birds chirping, right? You hear folks laughing, having fun, walking their dogs, having conversation that's not overly loud. That's those two neighborhoods just based off of sound. We haven't gone through nothing else. Just based off the sound, you know which neighborhood, what type of neighborhood you're in based off the sounds that you hear and the conversations that you hear. How do the cars sound in that neighborhood? Are cars backfiring? Do you hear what you think are gunshots because the muffler's going off? Like, what sounds are you hearing? In my neighborhood, you don't hear a lot. It's very quiet. Other neighborhoods are very loud. Are there a lot of children in any given neighborhood? I do hear a lot of children in my neighborhood early in the morning because I live across the street from a school. Well, kitty corner from a school. And so but even then it's not overly loud. It sounds controlled. So how does the sound in your neighborhood? If it's peaceful, as a marketer, that lets you know that you're looking at stability. That lets you know that you're looking at family-oriented buyers. And the flip side, if it's loud and if it's chaotic, it's stimulation-driven. It's entertainment buyers. Those are two different types of people. So if I'm selling entertainment, I I do better to sell in a loud neighborhood than I would in a quiet neighborhood because they're buying entertainment in that loud neighborhood. People are being entertained.
I'll also look at impulse buyers as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just based off the sound. Mm-hmm. Just based off the sound, you might know that. So if you have a calm audience, you can sell safety, legacy, structure. If you have a loud audience, you can sell excitement, status, and attention. And now when it comes to the Black community, look at our communities. So do you see in our communities excitement, status, attention? That's why all the designer stuff be selling. That's why the iced out jewelry. That's why the cars with all the different marketing all over the cars. You know, out here we used to have the Lemon Ice. We used to have the Tony the Tiger truck. We used to have the EBT. Like we used to have just the box cars that are attention seekers. Not that they're brand new, that they're the best. We just saw this earlier today on the way here. There was a Bentley that's in town. I try to figure out who this is. Two-tone Bentley. Yeah, it's the only blue and gray two-tone Bentley driving through the hood. Beautiful. Like it makes the car look so out of place here that it says, if I was a police officer watching, I'd be like, who is the person in this car? Right, what they doing? Because they're marketing something that's out of place with everything else that's in the neighborhood, right? Two-tone Bentley. So sound tells you a lot. So entrepreneurs, tap in. What type of sounds are in the neighborhoods where your ideal client exists, where your target market exists? Are you hearing loud sounds or are you hearing sounds that not so much? Next thing they look at is body and health. They look at the weight, the overall weight of a community. If you have people that are more overweight or less overweight, it tells you something about what's surrounding that neighborhood. Do you have Whole Foods in that neighborhood? Do you have fresh foods? Do you have farmers markets? Or are we looking more like,
fried chicken,
right? 6-piece fried hard with mild sauce. What's in that neighborhood? Because the overall weight tells you about the eating habits. Eating habits tells you about the shopping habits. Shopping habits tells you where these people are probably shopping at, what they're probably buying. Who's eating out more, who's eating out less. You can just tell these things. So this is something the CIA does. They look at the discipline level of a community. And so discipline versus convenience, those are two different mindsets. Discipline versus convenience. And it's not to say that every person that's disciplined is not going to have convenience and every person that's convenience is not disciplined. But it's an overall projection of a neighborhood or a community because now you're looking at that community saying, what can I sell to this community, right? Disciplined people, you can sell optimization and performance. Optimization and performance. It may take longer, but discipline allows you to work through a problem longer to get a result. Versus if you have undisciplined, you can sell ease, shortcuts, and quick wins. Also, that's why it's so easy to scam the Black community. It's so easy to scam us because all it takes is one person on YouTube be calling themselves a guru, and that person comes on and tells you something just phenomenal. And we hear it and we're like, hey man, I could go to school for 12 years to learn how to be a doctor, or I could buy this course, right? And this course is gonna give me the equal of 12 years of knowledge in school to be a doctor, and now I can be an online doctor just by taking this course. There are no shortcuts to a lot of things in life. One of my coaches told me that when you take shortcuts, he said, when you cut corners, you lose bread. Just think about that. When you cut corners, you lose bread. So there's no shortcut to success. You gotta have some discipline. You gotta have some work ethic. You gotta have some consistency in order to get whatever result you're trying to get. If it comes too quick and too easy, it's probably not right. Something else that they pay attention to. The CIA looks at posture. Why would they look at your posture? Do you sit up in your seat? Or are you always leaned over? Why looking at your posture? Posture deals with confidence. Mm-hmm. Posture also deals with like your belief system. Yeah. It comes out of your posture. Confident people move a certain way. People that aren't as confident move a certain way. So your posture tells you a lot. It talks about your internal belief system. People who have internal beliefs, you can't sell certain things to them because it violates their belief system. But if you look slouched over, if you look lazy, if you look like you don't care, I can sell other things to you. So if you want, depending on what you're selling, you got to look at the type of neighborhoods. This goes right along with, in our workshops, we teach people how to use what the post office has. It's called, what's it called? You just can go on your post office website. I forget what it's called. I'll look it up maybe while we're doing this, while we're shooting this podcast episode. But you can go on the website. It's called USPS Direct Marketing. And you can go in there and you can you can look at neighborhoods by zip code, and it'll give you a bunch of information. It'll tell you like the annual or the average, what is it? The average annual income of a household. So then you can start to realize, oh, this neighborhood, the average income is 100,000. This neighborhood, the average income is 10,000. Well, you're not going to sell a $25,000 product if a neighborhood has an average income of $10,000. That's crazy. But if you go into a neighborhood where the average income is $500,000 and you're selling a product for $2,000, almost everybody in that neighborhood can afford your product. Now you're not wasting time. Now you got to figure out what language to speak to get those people to pay you for your product if they need it. Versus going in another community, if you're selling that same product, but the average income is 10,000 and your product is 2,000, they're probably not going to buy it from you because you're asking for 20% of their annual yearly income. That's just insane. They're not going to do that. So you got to be able to see the difference between these two things. All right. If people that have low confidence, you can sell identity transformation. People who have high confidence, you sell leverage and expansion. Those are two different selling points. Low confidence, high confidence. Who are you selling to? What are you selling? Why are you selling it? All right. Another thing that you can learn from the CIA in their analysis is movement. Movement, how people walk, right? Movement. You ever see people that walk fast? People that walk fast look like they're going someplace important.
Yeah.
People that walk slow or just standing around or just hanging out, you're like, oh, there's nothing important happening here. So you can based off the walk of a community, you can tell what's happening. People that walk pets typically tend to walk a little bit faster. The pet's pulling you, right? You typically are walking a little bit faster. People that go jogging in neighborhoods and go running around, they're typically moving at a faster pace. People that are moving slower, you can identify these people this must either be leisure time or they're not on somebody else's clock. They're not on their way to work. They're just hanging out or they're just moving very slow. So then it's wherever they're going, they're either really early or it's not important to get to wherever they're going, or they don't have any place that they're trying to get to. I need y'all to think about this. The CIA is looking at all of this when they're analyzing the neighborhood. We're marketers, but we're not analyzing any of this information, but we're talking about selling to clients and trying to get consistent sales. You got to have this type of information to get consistent sales. Fast movers typically are goal driven. People move fast because they got a goal to hit. People move slow because they're driven by comfort. Like, you know how it is. Think about you in your own personal life. When do you move fast? When do you move slow? If somebody tells you your house is on fire, are you going to move slow to get out there, or are you moving with urgency? Versus, it's a summer afternoon.
Slow stroll.
Yeah, summer afternoon. You ain't got no place to be. You going to that party tonight? Yeah, about to go buy some clothes. I'm probably finna go get maybe a smoothie or something. Finna go get a little something to drink. I'm just chilling. You gonna move at your own speed. You're driven by comfort. But let a tornado come to your neighborhood. You moving with urgency to get indoors somewhere.
Knees
all
don't
right?
hurt no more.
You feel me? Hey, so people moving fast, you're gonna sell speed and results. When people are moving slow, you're gonna sell comfort and lifestyle. But you gauge based on that neighborhood. So maybe as a marketer, go sit in the neighborhood you want to sell to, or go sit in a sample neighborhood that you want to sell to. And when you sell to that one neighborhood every single time, any neighborhood that reflects that neighborhood will see your marketing and they'll buy into what you're marketing. That's how you market to a whole group of people without having to go see all those people in person. All right. Something else that the CIA does, super simple. They monitor emotion versus logic. Emotion versus logic.
We're not ready for this.
Oh man, this is crazy, bro. This one, this is so deep.
You gotta have your big boy and big girl draws on to listen to this right here.
This is deep. This one is deep. Cause in the hood, we like 99% emotion. Right? We are moved by emotion. Let me paint a picture for you. You have all these problems in your community. Let's say you got poor school. Let's say you got high crime. You don't have access to fresh food. You got all these problems going on. There's corruption happening at the political level and your local government. All these problems are happening. And then guess what happens every 2 years, every 4 years? The politicians come into your neighborhood. And even though you got all these problems, they play on your emotions and not your logic. They never promise you something stable. They come in, they play the saxophone, they got hot sauce in their purse, they kiss your babies, they go to your church service, all of a sudden they get a new accent, and before you know it, these people are winning your vote based purely on emotion. Yeah. No logic whatsoever. It's all emotion, right? You're like, man, but they did sing with the choir. So they came in, and they look crazy singing a song to you, right?
That boy play that. That was a nice suit.
Boy, you feel me? It's so crazy. They come in and play us strictly based on emotion. They got your vote. Nothing logical. They didn't promise you to fix the educational system and improve your schools. They didn't improve your roads. They didn't improve the fresh produce in your neighborhood. They didn't improve the crime in your neighborhood. They didn't improve policing. They didn't improve nothing. Matter of fact, they probably came in and talked about taking things out here in Rockford. They took stuff out of the community. Yeah. They moved the hospital in the trauma. People get shot in the trauma, I think it's trauma 1 unit. They took it and moved it 20 minutes down the street. So now if you get shot on the side of town where shootings happen, you got a longer drive to get to the hospital. But the politicians smiled when they came in. They was all nice and, oh man, we're gonna give you this new hospital. It's gonna be upscale. We're gonna have all the newest technology. When you check in, you're gonna check in on an iTablet or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Right. You're gonna be on an iPad checking in. You're gonna love it. When you get to the parking lot, man, your number is gonna be automatically marked. They got us. Man, even the lighting is gonna have cameras in it. We'll be able to identify your facial recognition, all of that, just to rob you from a hospital based on emotion, no logic. Nothing gets fixed, it's all logic. We those type of people. Or, very popular in our community, crimes of passion. Because you find out either in real time or afterwards that the person you love don't love you the same way. So you automatically respond on 100% emotion, no logic. And yes, it may hurt your feelings. It may break your heart. But guess what? Something that's important to learn about marketing, we learn through marketing that also translates through therapy, is that you can only control what you can control. You can't control the market. You can't control the S&P 500. You can't control how money is being spent overseas. You can't, there's so many things you can't control when it comes to your own life. You're in an environment, but you can only control what you can control. But unfortunately, when you react off emotion, you come in, you see the person you love act in a way that doesn't please you, crime of passion happens, or domestic violence happens, and you respond purely off emotion instead of logic. And so this is being studied. The CIA studies this. You got to know that they're studying this to know what's this. Because if you move off emotion, guess what else they can do? My boy DC said it earlier. Impulse shoppers. You buy off emotion. It's no real science to what you're doing. It's just all emotional. Man, you know what? I look so good if I get this new car. You're not even thinking to yourself, how you going to pay the note? How you going to get new tires? How you going to be able to afford oil changes? How you going to be able to afford any major things that happen with the car? Even if you get the warranty, right? You're not even thinking, how can I keep up with this warranty payments? You struggling where you at, barely making payments where you at, but you feel good when you get it. That's how we do a lot of times. We get new shoes because they make us feel good.
It look good.
Man, it look good.
Sit down.
Man, and you think, man, when people see this, it's going to kill them. People see you and be like, because nobody really cares. The only person who really cares is you. So are you the type of person who moves off emotion or moves off of logic? And there's different ways you market to those two different people differently. You don't market to emotional people the same way you market to logical people, because they're looking for two different things. But in our community, we are very emotionally driven. We buy clothes, we buy food. We call it comfort food, right? Now I know everybody does comfort food, but think about that for a minute. We get comfort food. Man, I'm sad, so I'm gonna eat this tub of ice cream. But beg your pardon? What? Sadness drove you to diabetes? You feel me? That's crazy. Man, you know what? Oh man, my homie just died. So what did he die from? Man, what's that movie? Soul Food? Where it was like Big Mama died from high cholesterol, eating all the wrong foods. How do you celebrate her death?
Sunday at Big Mama's house.
Doing the same activities over and over. It's crazy. Insanity. Diabolical, man. They got it. So emotion versus logic. What type of a consumer are you? And the CIA doesn't just study this in individuals, they study entire neighborhoods. That's why I need you to understand when you're talking about how a group responds. When you hear me and DC talking about your ideal client, we're even though we're telling you to zone in on an individual, we're really telling you to zone in on group thinking. How do people who operate like this person, how does that group of people think? And that's what they're doing. If you're an emotional person, that tells us that emotional people you win over through stories. Those are story-driven people. You tell a story. Why? Because stories capture emotion. Don't you go to the movies? Don't you watch TV? Right now, if I tell you, if you're old enough, think back to the Fresh Prince episode when his dad left,
I knew
right?
I knew it.
Think back to that episode. Why? Because what if your dad wasn't in your life 100%, however it was, when you saw that episode, how did it make you feel? Right?
Why don't he want me?
Why don't he want me? You know what I'm saying? How did it make you feel? Listen, emotional people, when you watch Lion King, when you saw Mufasa die, and you saw his son get left because Mufasa died, right? How did it make you feel? That's the thing, right? How did it make you feel? So logical buyers are proof driven. See, emotional buyers, you can tell a story. And that's why storytelling is so important, because most consumers are emotional buyers. That's why storytelling is one of the most important things you can do as an entrepreneur. Learn to tell good stories. But don't just tell a story for telling a story's sake. Tell a story that leads people to your product, because once your story leads them to their product, the emotion will do the rest. But that's also why, on the flip side of that, so many of us get this thing called buyer's remorse. When we buy something that made us feel good in the moment, then we get home and realize, damn, they tricked me out of my money, right? Did I really need this brand new washer and dryer? Nothing wrong with your washer and dryer at home. But this one, it says, if you push this button combo this way, it'll wash your clothes in 5 minutes. Versus, taking 45 minutes to wash your clothes. Now you can get them done in 5 minutes. I gotta get that. I gotta get this. Listen, something I learned in therapy was that urgency is typically the enemy of humanity. There's almost nothing that demands true urgency outside of medical emergencies. Almost anything else does not demand urgency. If you think, I got to have this right now, unless it's something that you need to stay alive, wait 6 months. And if you come back to the thing that you gotta have, you wait 6 months and come back to it, you'll almost all the time you'll find, you know what? I didn't really need that thing. I wanted that thing. And needs and wants are not the same. So if you're driven by urgency, you're driven by emotion. Emotion will drive you to do things urgently. And that's how many consumers are. But you need to know, are you talking to emotionally driven people or logic driven people? They're not the same. All right, logical buyers, they want proof. Yeah. Prove to me. Okay, well, we tested this. That's why some commercials are like 9 out of 10 doctors agree, right? Then they like, oh, if you want to see the reports that we did, here's the scientific reports that we did on this product, because those people are being driven by proof. They want to see proof that this works. There's an 85% chance if you take this medicine, you'll heal. Okay, well, that's proof driven, not emotionally driven. Emotional driven is, listen, man, if you get this soap, you'll be just like whoever the latest celebrity is, right? Ladies, you want to smile like Cardi B? Use this toothpaste. There ain't no proof in that. They just played on your emotions and said, Cardi B got a nice smile. You can too if you use this toothpaste. Use 6 months later, teeth still just yellow, right? Nobody want to see you smile. They played on your emotion. But if they tell you using this toothpaste, 97% of dentists have agreed that this toothpaste naturally whitens teeth by 10 shades. That's a whole different conversation than smiling like Cardi B. All right, so what type of buyer are you? Emotional buyers, if you have emotional buyers, you want them to see your testimonials. You want them to hear stories. You want them to go off of vibes. That's crazy. Like that's a selling point. What's the vibe of this product? Right? What's the vibe? Man, folks rock with me in DC. I'm like, why you come? Man, y'all vibe be so positive. I'm like, what about the product? What about, nah, y'all just some positive brothers, man. Yeah, man, when I'm in y'all environment, that's good, but I don't think you're gonna do good with sales. Right. I don't think you're gonna do good with sales. Logical people, they want data, they want systems, and they want an ROI. They want proof, right? What's the data that you're collecting? You know, do you got name, number, email? Do you got their occupation, their education, their marital status? If they have children, what neighborhood they live in, their annual income? Do you have data? Or do you have emotion, right? Do you have systems? What's your CRM system look like? What's your email marketing system look like? What is your pixel setup like? Like what type of data? What are your KPIs looking like?
Yeah, I think that's right there. That's what stops everything. The systems. Systems are the big. Systems are the difference maker between a hustler and a business owner. Man. Because like you said, how can I look at the data if I never recorded it? Exactly. What data? That's why most folks come to us. I'm like, let me see your data. Huh? What data? I sold out. How many t-shirts did you have? I don't know. They come in packs of 10. Yeah. How many you got left over? Man, I got to go count. What? How much money did you make? Right. Which one sold the most? Man. You know what I'm saying? What sold the least? You know, like these are the things that we're not asking. No. We're stuck in hustle mode. Hustle mode is, I got it, let me get it, and I'm going to get it now.
And to be honest, if you're hustling, like I tell people all the time, the word hustle is not in the business dictionary because you're not doing business, you're hustling. No, they're not the same thing. Because if you're doing business and you're thinking logically, there should be a return on your investment. What is the ROI on whatever it is whatever you're putting energy in, whether you're putting finances in, whether you're putting time in, what's the return on what you've invested? If nothing's coming out, then your marketing is not talking to the right people or your product is not hitting at the right time. All right. Another thing the CIA looks at that you should look at also, color. What the color of a community. Now, not like, are these the blacks? It's not what we're saying.
Oh, the Mexican on this side.
Yeah, Mexicans over here. That's not what we're saying.
Irish over here.
Yeah, the color. Anytime you go to a white neighborhood, it's selling. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is, though, think about the further south you go or the closer you go to the equator. Communities seem to get more and more vibrant. Think about Florida. It's all pastel colors, right? Pastel pink, pastel orange, pastel yellow. Think about Mexico, southern Mexico, the closer you get to like Costa Rica and South America. Think about Puerto Vallarta. Think about Cancun. Think about these places. These are very bright and vibrant places. Why? Because bright and vibrant colors show you that there's life happening. Even right here in our Hustle and Humor podcast set, behind us it's different colors. Is it pop culture? Yes, but it's extremely colorful. It's bright. It always stands out. It don't matter if it's Goku, LeBron James, Tupac, Sonic the Hedgehog, Shadow, whoever it is, it's bright and it's vibrant. You just see colors popping all over the place. Hello Kitty over here. You see colors popping. Why? Because there's life. It's vibrant. How does your community look? And the people that you're selling to, what type of community do they live in? One of the biggest examples about color and why color matters is McDonald's. If you're an 80s baby like me, back in our day, McDonald's, before it was what it is today, before it became the box, it used to have McDonald's Playland. Used to have Purple Grimace, the yellow, I don't know what the bird lady, French fry girl is. Birdie. We'll call her Birdie. The Hamburglar, right, in black and white. You had Ronald McDonald, the clown. Then you had the little ball pits with like the paws, the little orange and red and blue. Like, it was colorful.
It was a fun place.
It was a fun place to be. Like, when you saw McDonald's Playland, you wanted to go there. Burger King had something not quite as colorful, but they also had their Playland. But now, McDonald's is just a box, right? It's just a golden arch, and it's like these brown boxes, and it doesn't exude the same fun, life, light, and energy for children. So the Happy Meal that children used to get used to be associated with the Playland. And the Happy Meal and the Playland, children associated having a good time and fun with a Happy Meal because there was a Playland, and so children were excited to get Happy Meals. Nowadays, children ain't moved by no Happy Meal because they took away the life and the vibrancy of the color of McDonald's Playland. So that's why color matters. How do the neighborhoods look with that your customer lives in, that your ideal client lives in? How do those neighborhoods look? Are they gray? Are they ran down? Are they dilapidated? Are they in need, or are they vibrant? Are they popping? Is the grass green when it's hot? Are there different colored leaves, different colored plants, different colored flowers, right? I noticed one thing about my neighborhood. It's a bunch of old people in my neighborhood that all are in their garden all day, in the front and the back of the house. Yellow dandelions, red roses growing, orange over here, the little purple, what do you call those, lavender, whatever happened in the little cherry blossom. Like, it's all present in the same spot because there's life. So are you selling to people where there's energy, creativity, and life? Because that's what the more creativity, energy, and life that you can see. So if you're selling a product that requires that, you want to sell to neighborhoods where you have energy, creativity, and life. If it's a dull environment, guess what you sell? That's what you sell, escape. And that's why in most of those neighborhoods, alcohol, a liquor store is on every corner. You're selling escape. The weed man, even though marijuana is legal in most places, the weed man stay working because escape. You're selling escape. Movie theaters stay packed. There used to be back in the day the DVD man and the bootleg man and all that because you're selling escape. Video games always moving because you're selling escape. It's the fantasy. You're creating a world of fantasy. You're selling escape if you're in a dull environment. In a vibrant environment, if you're in a vibrant neighborhood, then you sell amplification. You amplify what's already there. You get life, what they say in church, you get life and life more abundantly when you have a vibrant neighborhood. So these are things the CIA looks at when it comes to that we should use for our own marketing. Now this one is interesting because I was trying to figure it out fully through and through. But this one is based on sight. Sight, though, goes into self-care and awareness. Do you need glasses but refuse to go get glasses?
Oh, so many people.
It's just so many of us can't see far away, can't see up close. Reading books gives us headaches. Like just looking at, but we don't take care of our eyes. But if you won't take care of your eyes, you probably don't take care of your hygiene. You don't take care of your hygiene, there's a long list of things that probably happen based on what you can see. But people that don't take care of their eyes tells you something, because you only get 2 pair of eyes and you need these bad boys. There ain't no point in time in life where I was like, ugh.
Oh, I wish I have these.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? No, I need these things. So when people don't go get, and it could be for whatever reason, maybe you can't afford it, maybe you just, I don't know, but you need glasses. If you need glasses, or you need whatever when you need it. So people that don't take care of their eyes, people who have low awareness, you can sell those type of people an awakening, right? Sell them an awakening, because for them, if they're not taking care of their eyes, then they're probably not reading a lot. And if they're not reading a lot, you're missing a whole world, because half the world and half the answers to most of the problems in our life are buried in books. So you can sell awakening to those people if they're not taking care of their eyes, versus those who are taking care of their eyes. Those people have high awareness. You can sell them mastery. They're aware of these different things, but now they need to master it. So those are two different, selling awakening and selling mastery are not the same thing. If you come to this type of marketing class that we're giving y'all for free, this is more so on the high awareness side. This is for people who are already aware. You already have a business. You already have clients. You already have customers. You're already in the market trying to do something. Most people if you hear this podcast episode and you don't have a business, it's probably not going to be very effective for you. You're like, what he talking about? Because this isn't how to set it up. This is looking at what you already have and how to improve it. It's not how to set it up. One is for an awakening, how to set it up. The other is how to take what you already have and improve upon the design. So they're two different realities that we're talking about. Here's another one. We almost through this list. All right, we almost through this list. Here's another one, very important. Touch. Touch is very important. Now, I should look it up. You know what? Let me go to I got my laptop out. I don't know if you can see it on camera or not. I'm asking Google a question. Does touch affect our lifespan? And Google says whether it's cuddling with a partner, hugging a friend, or holding your child's hand, physical touch increases your overall well-being and strengthens your social relationships, diminishing your overall risk for an age-related disease. It's another way that your skin helps you live a longer, healthier life. How important is touch? Let me give you some examples of how important touch is. You ever go to like a little league football game in the hood, and you see that when parents are cheering their children on, a lot of times we're extremely aggressive with our children. When our children come, we like, go get them. Yeah, get out there. We hit them. We send them out hard. It's a very aggressive touch. But that touch tells us something about the relationships that are happening in that part of the community, versus you go to a little league football game on another side of town. It's a very gentle, loving, caring, caressing touch, right? You can do it, Johnny, right? Yeah. I believe in you, Dylan, right? And now, yes, there's some racial undertones to that, but just think about how we talk to our children, how we touch our children, right? Do we hug and kiss our children? Do we love on our children? I just saw an interview from Drink Champs with, how you pronounce his name? The Mexican guy, John Luisiano, something like that. Yeah. And he was talking about, I think he's Puerto Rican. Is he Puerto Rican? Yeah. Okay, damn. Caught me lacking. He was talking about his role he did in the new documentary on Pablo Escobar. And he was saying in Colombia that at a certain point in time, all the parents were rough with their children in the way that they touched them. And even though Pablo Escobar he is who he is. Now, don't get it twisted. He wasn't no punk. Even though that was the case, with his son, he was very gentle, very loving, very caring, very caressing. He was the way he treated his son actually changed the entire culture of how Colombians were treating their children. He made it popular to be gentle with your child and still be a gangster. Right? We think that we have to be rough with each other and tough with each other in order to push each other forward. You can still be kind, caring, and loving and push each other in a way that's not so aggressive. But we push the aggression because that's what we've known. And so the CIA studies touch because touch shows us connection and belonging. Like, who's your tribe? How do y'all touch? But it's not just physical touch. What touches you, right? So like, if you saw Mufasa fall over that edge and you wasn't touched, what type of person are you? You know what I'm saying? You seen Simba get left to the hyenas and you didn't feel nothing in here?
Running up, come back.
Yeah, you feel me? Yo, if you didn't if you didn't have that single tear in the corner like Mufasa, you know what I'm saying? You know, you might not have had a full RIP t-shirt with his face on it, You might not have did a GoFundMe for Mufasa, but damn, you wasn't moved by that? Like, what type of things move you? When you watch a movie or a TV show or hear a song, are you moved by, does art move you? Like, if art doesn't move you, what does that say about what's going on in here? Those are that the person who's moved by art and the person who's not, those are two different realities, right? Because you're either gonna sell one of two things. You're either selling healing to the people who are in a harsh environment, or you're selling growth to the people who are in an environment that's already loving. Those are the only two options you have, healing or growth. What are you selling to these people? Is it something that's gonna help them to get better, or is it something that's gonna amplify what they already have? But touch is so important. Especially when you're studying the emotions of an environment, touch becomes very important. Like if you imagine you got a boyfriend, girlfriend, you don't touch them. What message are you sending, right? They start feeling lonely. They start feeling, oh man, I'm abandoned. I'm not loved. I'm not cared for, right? Touch is extremely important. So remember, you got to look at your ideal client. And now this is deeper than just asking, do they have children? Do they have a spouse? This is now asking, when you talk about touch, this is now asking the question, how do they interact with other people in that environment? Because based on how they interact gives you a leeway of how you should be talking to them about your product to get them to buy your product from you. So touch is extremely important. Here's another one that I was thinking of some examples for this one, DC, and I was like, man, this is gonna be a bad example, but I gotta do what we gotta do, man. This one is smell, smell. And my instant thought was always to the projects in any city. If you think about projects in any city, piss and beer, and most of our projects smell that way. Like, but why? Like, why don't the projects smell like Fabuloso, Pine Sol, some type of cleaning? Like, what is it about the projects that historically we typically think of nasty smells? We typically think of things that aren't pleasant to the nose. Like, smell tells us a lot. Like, because it's not, if the environment doesn't smell good, then you could probably figure the homes don't smell good. If the homes don't smell good, the people probably don't smell good. There's something there. There's a lack of hygiene. There's a lack of fresh food available. There's a lack of people taking care of themselves properly. And you get that based off of smell. You know, if you go someplace and the smell is good, my God, you in there.
You might be locking in.
You locking in just based off the smell.
Stay a little longer.
Like, think about a beautiful woman, right? For the fellas.
Like I said.
She's the most beautiful thing you ever seen, but she musty. You know what I'm saying? Is she still a 10? You feel me? Devastating. She no longer a 10. You like, damn, she went from a 10 to a 2 that quick.
Fast.
Like, because if she's musty, you like, damn, man, you can't even, like, some things there's just no way to work around. You like, some things we can change. You know what? You can change your clothes. We can get you some new glasses. If you don't know how to touch, you can learn how to touch, but being musty? Oh, man. Not for a woman.
You smell that first.
You feel what I'm saying? They say first impressions are everything. Yo, you was musty. Nah, maybe you were just having a bad day, whatever it is. But smell tells you everything. And here's the secret to smell. When you smell cleanliness, you also are smelling, for the most part, ownership. When you smell dirtiness, you're smelling neglect. And so, are we talking ownership to our clients, or are we talking neglect to our clients? Those are two different conversations. If we're talking to owners, that's when you talk about a mortgage, that's owner language, right? Mortgage, car note, maybe it could be lease, but
homeowner insurance.
Yeah, that's a different conversation than talking to somebody about renting something, right? But the same goes with clean and dirty. Because think about this. In what type of neighborhoods do people eat food and just throw the bags on the ground? In neighborhoods where people don't own those things, right? There's neglect. You just throw it on the ground. Man, I don't care, man. It's whatever. I have seen children be in their neighborhoods and throw stuff on the ground, and then be in other neighborhoods and they'll ball up a bag of chips and put it in their pockets. Yep. I've seen it.
Based off it look.
Just based off how it looks, right? Because one thing is neglected, the other thing has ownership. One thing gets cleanliness, the other thing gets dirtiness. So smell is important. Smell is very important. You got to understand smell, all right? When there's neglect, you can sell restoration, though. Because if there's neglect, you can sell. Imagine if I sell Pine Sol, I want to be where it's dirty. Because listen, my product is transformational to your life. If you buy this Pine Sol in those pissy project hallway, and all you do is go ahead and scrub these walls, hit this carpet, or mop this up like this, now you can change the environment, and the environment now smells clean. That will literally change the mindset. Pine Sol now becomes a transformational product versus something that just sits on the shelves. Versus if my house is already clean, now I'm selling pride. I'm selling elevation. No, it's clean, but I got to keep it clean. I got to maintain the cleanliness. I got to maintain the ownership. I got to maintain that. Yeah. See? So, yeah, understanding smell is very important. All right. Last thing we're going to do on this list before we get to the next part. Last thing we're going to do is what moves you. What moves you, right? What makes you act? What activates you, right? Does injustice activate you? When Black Lives Matter was all across TV, when you saw somebody that looked like you suffer injustice at the hands of police or somebody who's not police, did you just say, oh, that's sad? Or did it motivate you to do something, right? Did injustice activate something in you to say, I gotta get busy doing something, right? Because the product you're selling, you're trying to activate people to go take an action to get your product. So you gotta look at, am I activating? What are these people activated by? What about money? Does money activate in you to go take action, to go do something? For some of us, money don't move us. I've heard people say, man, I don't care nothing about money. No matter how much money you give me, I'm gonna do this, this, and this. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. You're not the person I need to talk to. I like talking to people who are driven by money. Not that money is the end all be all, but the world we live in, if you don't have money, hell, gas right now in our state, $5 a gallon.
Where you going?
Where you going? What if my favorite restaurant is not in this city? All of my favorite restaurants, the closest one is an hour from me near O'Hare. If I want to go eat Boston Fish Market, I need the gas money just to get to Boston Fish Market. If I want to go to Can't Believe It's Not Meat, I need the gas money to get to Hyde Park or to get to downtown Chicago or to get to Orland Park. I need the gas money just to get there. You're not motivated by money. I'm not sure what you're doing. You need some new clothes? It's going to cost, even if you go to the Goodwill, clothes at the Goodwill not free. You can't walk in and say I'm poor. They're going to be like, hey, $375, right?
Where else you want from?
Man, yeah, you know, if you want whatever, everything in life costs money. The sun is free, oxygen is free, water not even free nowadays. Not if you want real water. What about status? Are you moved by status? Some people are moved by status. Some people like looking the part. Some people like being the part. Even if it doesn't give you the money, some people just want the title. We see this a lot in our city. People get a title and you can't tell them nothing. They are moved by that title. I am the grand representative of the state elected board of, you like, what? What does that mean?
They get the title and then they get the values and the work.
Man, some folks are activated by a title. That's their status. But if that's what moves a person, then you know what you could be selling to that person. Right? If that person's activated by status, feed their status. Feed the ego. If that's the case, it's hungry. It's going to eat regardless. Feed it. Some people are activated by family, which is good. Like Dom from Fast and Furious, right? It's all about family. So some people will do anything and everything for their family. They're trying to leave a legacy behind. Those people, you talk differently than people that aren't activated by their family. Like if you tell a person, man, your mom is sick, and they're like, that's a different type of person. So you got to know people that are activated by family. And some people, a lot of us are activated by fear. A lot of us are activated by fear. When COVID-19 was happening, they were able to control the masses because the masses of us moved based off fear. We didn't wait for the facts to come out. We wasn't being driven by logic. We was being driven by emotion. They told you can get some free weed or a chance to win a lottery ticket for $1 million. All you gotta do is take this shot.
That was crazy.
That was wild. Straight emotion. No logic whatsoever. So what are the things that activate us? So your offer, whatever you're offering to people, your offer has to connect to a trigger. It has to trigger something in them that causes them to act to get to where you're at. So, oh man, okay, you have this product over here, I'm over here. In order for me to get there, you have to give me something to put me in motion that's gonna move me towards whatever that thing is. So that list of 10 things, now I need y'all to write those 10 things down and study them intensely, because if you liked what you just heard of those 10 things that the CIA uses when they analyze neighborhoods, you should be using all 10 of those things to put together your ideal client, your ideal customer build out. but there's more. This is where me and DC come together, because now information is good, but implementation is how you actually get results. All right, now we about to talk money. This is where you get paid. The question you should be asking is, I listen to everything you just said in this workshop, on this podcast. Now, how do I take that and apply it and use it? All right, so we're gonna walk through these steps. All right, step one, you're gonna pick your audience. And I'll give you an example. Your audience might be single moms in an urban area. All right, if your audience is single moms in an urban area, you're gonna run all 10 of those signals I just gave you. You're gonna check the sound. Is the sound chaotic? You're gonna check the movement. The movement is slow. You're gonna check the emotion. Well, the emotion is high. Go through all 10 of those signals I just gave you. Now what you're gonna do is build your offer around reality. Build your offer around that reality. Not what you think, what you observe. So let's do this, right? If our audience was, or we're gonna pick one out, we're gonna say struggling entrepreneurs. For audience of struggling entrepreneurs, let me go into this. The sound, what do struggling entrepreneurs hear? You may say they hear noise, they have a noisy mind. They feel overwhelmed. That's what typically we find with struggling entrepreneurs. Their posture a lot of times is defeated. Man, you know, even if you watch my podcast, you can tell different things about different entrepreneurs. The ones who sit up like this and is talking bright and vibrant, they know what they're talking about, you can tell they typically have better results than the ones who come in and they're like, man, you know, I'm just trying to make it. I just hope I get a sale. So their posture, so we're dealing with our audience, struggling entrepreneurs. They have noisy minds. They're overwhelmed. The posture says they're defeated. The movement is inconsistent. They got inconsistent movement. They're not moving. The emotion is high frustration, high frustration. So now your offer should be, number one, clarity. You should be selling them, number two, structure. You should be, and when I say these numbers, I'm not saying that one is more important than the other. I'm just listing off things that you should be selling them. But clarity, structure, direction, and control. Because if you can bring clarity, structure, direction, and control to them, you can change their entire business reality. And now they can go from inconsistent sales, where they're just guessing, to now you're speaking the language of the people in that situation. So you need to be able to make sure to understand how to close. All right. All right. Next thing we're going to do. If this workshop helped you to see your customer clear, imagine what happens when you build your entire business around it. I'm sorry. Imagine what happens if you build your entire business around it. So something that me and DC have been doing, we have a workshop that we call the six-figure blueprint clarity workshop. It's where you come to get business clarity. In that, you get a workbook, you get consultation, you get a course from us, and it helps you not just with the 10 signals we just gave you, but it helps to give you a full, well-rounded understanding of your ideal client. Now, why is that important? The last time we did it, it took us about 2.5 hours, 3 hours to get through building out the whole well-rounded picture that you need to really be able to build your business into a transformational business that gets you consistent sales and gets you consistently paid. Most of us haven't even gone through the 10 signals that we got today, let alone the full entirety of what we need to learn. And mind you, I'm giving this to you for free. So just imagine that the thing that you pay for is equally valuable or even more valuable. All right. So you need to know also something else to think about when it comes to these people. Now, these aren't signals that the CIA uses, but I added this in, is the time. What time are your clients most active? Are they morning grinders or night hustlers? Do they work during the daytime? Do they work at night? When do they work? What do they do? How does their day flow? That's very important to know. Their money flow. Do they spend or do they survive? The difference between spending and surviving. When I'm up, I might spend a few extra dollars here on something I don't need on leisure. When I'm down, it's bills. It's all necessities. It's groceries. And even when you're down, you even start looking at bills like, all right, I'm gonna pay this bill and this bill.
Which one is not making?
Yeah, which bill don't get it this month? I gotta pay electricity. I ain't pay that. So there's a difference between if they're spending leisurely or if they're spending to survive. You need to know that. And then also, what are their status signals? What do they use to flex? Like what is their big flex? Is it their family, their children, vacations, their passport, their job, their title? Like what's their flex? Those are things that you need to know. So remember, people don't buy products, they buy solutions that match their environment. I'm gonna repeat that one more time. People don't buy products, they buy solutions that match their environment. You know,
And what do we teach an entrepreneur is here?
an entrepreneur is a person who solves problems for profit. At this point, I wish we had some of our students in here so we could ask them the question, what is an entrepreneur? Because if it ain't nothing else they learn, they know that a person who who solves problems for profit is an entrepreneur. All right. So that is very, very important. All right. Now, I'm gonna be very direct to close this workshop / podcast episode out, because I don't want to leave you out there without the help that you need. You might have gone through this entire podcast and you might have actually taken notes. You might be looking at your business. You might have wrote the 10 signals down. You might have put it together. You say, all right, I'm ready. I got what I need. What's next? All right. So if you made it this far, then you've already been looking at your customers wrong. If you made it this far and you took this podcast episode serious, then you know you've probably been looking at your customers wrong. You've been guessing, but what should you have been doing? Observing. So what I just gave you today is going to help you to stop chasing money and start attracting it, because that's what we really want to do. Stop chasing, start attracting. Here's the reality. Information is cool. Implementation is what changes your income. So we gave you today, me and DC, we gave you information. We gave you inspiration. But information and inspiration doesn't necessarily change the outcome of your income. That comes from observing, but it also comes from implementation. So if you're serious about building a business that actually makes money and not just looks good on Instagram or looks good on Facebook or looks good on your TikTok, I need you to do one or two things right now. This is what I need you to do. You can go to my website, ceobrohenry.com. You can book me to come speak. You can book me in DC. We'll come train your team. We'll work with your organization directly. You can do that. But if what you heard today really moved you and you're like, man, you know what? I want to get in on the next workshop that y'all are doing, then I want you to go to sixfigureclarity.com, sixfigureclarity.com, and grab a seat either for our in-person workshop. And then after we do that, May 23rd, we'll also have some virtual workshops. And if that already happens, you can always come back to it. We'll have the course available. You can get that course from us to help you along your way. And guess what? Just because I paid thousands of dollars to get this information does not mean I'm going to turn around and tax you thousands of dollars to get this information. We always give the information for a low price, because for us, this is not our major selling point. So for us, the money is just to make sure that we can keep the systems and operations going. So that way more people can continue to get this information, change their business, change their life. And if you do get this information, change your business and change your life, don't stop there. Come visit our babies at our school and talk to them about how you were able to change your business life and business reality getting this information. All right. So that's it. That's all I got for y'all. I need you to understand clarity doesn't just show up. You have to go get it. That's how you get to the top. Remember, we're not guessing anymore. We're doing observation. We're tapping into those 10 signals, and we're putting together full packages, which is why we have our 6-figure blueprint workshop coming up. It'll be on May 23rd, depending on when you're seeing this video. If May 23rd, 2026 has passed, you may be watching this video in time to catch our virtual workshop live. And if that has passed also, then you may be able to catch the course live on sixfigureclarity.com or claritylab360.com. Either way it goes, man, I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. I had fun doing it. Me and my brother DC in here, man. Sometimes we just got to we got to feed the people. Oh, yeah. I know sometimes all the time you see us laughing and joking with the guest on the show and talking entrepreneurship, but sometimes we got to let y'all know that we do this in real life. Real talk. We do this in real life.
Real talk, man. Hey, even through the midst of it all, don't forget to laugh.
Don't forget to laugh. Peace, y'all.